right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live, where we showcase the people, the products, and the processes helping us all to build it better. And if you watch this show regularly, you know we talk about offsite construction, advanced manufacturing, industrialized construction, modern methods of construction, whatever it is that you want to call it. But for those of you who want to enter this space or want to scale up production in your offsite construction business, one of the most frequently asked questions is, where do we find skilled labor for factory production? Where do we find the set crews, the installation crews, finish crews for offsite construction? We're talking about certified trades and experienced skilled workers in the factory and outside the factory. Today, we welcome Trey Shelton, CEO of FourA Constructs, and he's going to share how they are developing the next generation of skilled workers for factory-produced steel and timber frame housing and all sorts of buildings materials that are out there. So, before we hop into it, though, we always have to thank our sponsors. So let's give them a big shout out and we'll get right into it with Trey. Stream Modular, the only logistics company you need to transport your mods, pods, and panels. Our friends at Stream Modular are investing $50 million over the next 25 years to build the technology, solutions, and trailers needed to handle and transport the projects of today and meet the demands of tomorrow. Reach out to their team at streammodular.com to discuss your next project. CombiLift is the largest global manufacturer of multi-directional forklifts and straddle carriers, a leader in long load handling solutions, offering a free warehouse and site optimization design service. CombiLift helps companies of all sizes and from every industry maximize the capacity, safety, and efficiency of their warehouse and storage facilities. A big thank you to Paul Short and the team at CombiLift for helping us all to build it better. Visit them at combilift.com. Brave Control Solutions, where offsite manufacturing systems that do more than just improve productivity. They have a unique approach to industrialized construction, a lineup of flexible automation systems specifically designed for the construction industry, empowered by CAD to Fab, and turnkey solutions for 3D volumetric assembly, structural insulated panels, finished wall assemblies, MEP component processing, assembly, kitting, and storage. Learn more at thinkbrave.com. All right, thank you to all of our sponsors. And again, please go and say hello to them and thank them for allowing us to bring you all of these innovative conversations. And this is a big one. Factory workers, heck, just workers in general are so hard to come by these days, but we have somebody that has lots of them ready to go in their factory trained. And even if they're not factory trained, they will make sure they are trained to your specific needs. So without further ado, let's bring Trey into the show. Trey, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, Dave. How are you?
Good. Hey, listen, I think this is exciting because all we ever hear about Trey is, oh, I can't find workers. Nobody wants to work anymore. What are we going to do? ... And it's a real issue, not only in our industry, but across the board. Sure. But you, my friend, have said, well, I'm going to tackle that problem and I'm going to help these manufacturers. And I'm excited to have this conversation. But first, Trey, you're new to this show. So we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Don't leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will have your mother on the show. And I guarantee, based on talking to you, that she'll have some good stories to share. So I best believe that you're going to tell us everything. You got 2 minutes to do it, man. Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Okay, great. Well, originally I was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Wound up moving to Atlanta, Georgia when my dad was transferred out here for his job. And so I grew up, went to high school, and wound up at the University of Georgia. Did a lot of things in between. I always knew that I wanted to be a businessman. I always knew that I wanted to run a business. And so I kind of did that, throughout school and in college. But when I got out of the University of Georgia, I went into the recruiting and staffing world. After a few years in that, I got into construction. Noticed the parallels very quickly between recruiting and staffing and construction, meaning in the stick built world, you're always trying to go out and recruit and find the best skilled trades you can for subcontractors and at the best price. And so, essentially what stick built constructors are doing is going out and recruiting skilled labor. And so I got a call a few years into my construction industry space and knowledge, and it was a manufacturer asking me for skilled labor, and I didn't know what that meant because I didn't understand what offsite construction was at the time. But I went to their facility and I noticed very quickly that they were, building modules and stud packs and headers and all the things that are involved in stick built construction without, weather delays. And so I wound up putting 100 workers into that factory and learning very quickly that the skilled trades in the factory are very important, but also training them and teaching them how production works and getting them to being accustomed to being a production worker. And so that kind of began what we've been doing for the past 6 or 7 years, which is staffing offsite manufacturers with skilled labor. And from that, we started training skilled set crews and on-site guys for our vertically integrated folks and other third parties that had customers that needed those services. So we've built out a large workforce over the past 6 or 7 years of skilled factory workers and construction trades that are badly needed. I think that, that's true, like you said, with every industry in our country, but especially in our space.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, what's really great about this, because you have been doing it now for, a number of years. And as factories ebb and flow with their production or management, or, they get bought or moved around, this workforce is constantly ebbing and flowing as well. So this is where I'm assuming, a lot of the skilled trained workforce comes in, correct?
Sure. Yep. So that's kind of what we do provide for manufacturers, and as anybody in the manufacturing space, whether it's construction or automobile, whatever it may be, production ebbs and flows. And so you need a workforce that can ebb and flow with those production needs. And so that's kind of what we provide. We can mobilize quickly. We're agile, and we can be anywhere at any time. We can mobilize 20 workers across the country in a week or less. And so that's something that, a lot of other folks can't say.
So let's talk about workers, right? We're talking from everything from cleaning up the factory to production managers in the factories and outside of the factories.
Correct. So we staff the skilled labor on the production floor, whether it's MEPs, framing, drywall, floor build, wall build, roof build, out to the yard crews, the kitting crews, the people sweeping up behind. We staff production managers, production supervisors, quality assurance, all of the more blue collar positions in the manufacturing space as well.
I love it. I love it. So listen, if you're watching the show and you're looking for the skilled labor for your manufacturing environments, and by the way, I know people that are already using Trey's services in this industry. This is why I think it's so important to have you on the show, Trey, because I think everybody should hear about your workforce and about what's going on, across the country for you. And, even internationally, right? Mexico and other areas that you guys are helping out. But, I want to dive into currently, the factories that you're in, or we're talking modular, we're talking panelization factories. Why don't you walk us through who your current customers are? And then let's get into what type of workforce that you have now and available for others.
Sure. So right now we are in factories, whether it's, light gauge steel, whether it's stick frame in the factory, whatever it might be. We've got certified welders that are fabricating the frames for the modules. We've got the light gauge steel framers in there working. We've got all the finished, trades in there working. We've got crews in almost every factory building, panelized systems, like you said, wall panels, MEPs. We've got forklift drivers that are certified. We've got set crews. We've got the people that basically from cradle to grave in the modular space are filling the need for skilled labor for our manufacturers and our developers. Right now, we probably have anywhere between 75 and 100 workers available, anywhere from Pennsylvania to South Carolina to Ohio, out to Oregon and California, and they're ready to work. And so, this is constantly what we're doing is we're finding manufacturers and clients that need our workers and workers that need to be placed. And so that's our business, and we do it daily.
So you have 75 to 100 workers available now. And listen, hey, are you going to help them out if they tell you Dave Cooper Live sent them?
Of course.
There you go. Make sure if you're
Absolutely.
watching this, you got to tell them, Dave, you heard about it from Dave Cooper Live here. Hey, listen, I think it's awesome. One, let's put people to work. We need the workers, right?
Sure.
But let's also talk about the skill sets here, because I'm not going to name names, but I was recently, talking about another factory, and you're specifically training your workers to take the next level of welding courses to
Mhm.
meet certifications based on projects coming up in the factories.
Absolutely. Well, we have everyone from, barely experienced that are learning in the production space to
Yeah.
people who are being certified to go out and where there are no tolerances when you're manufacturing and fabricating these steel modules, and they have to be certified and trained to the level to where I can place them, and our client feels comfortable that that they're going to go in there and do the job correctly. So we're putting our money where our mouth is, and certifying welders. We're certifying forklift drivers and other folks, overhead crane operators, and on and on, to make sure they can work in the space that's needed.
When we talk about the factory training that's required, like gauge steel, wood framing, whatever it's going to be, residential, commercial, different codes, different applications. Some factories have more automation than others. Some factories are very hands-on still. Um, Walk us through what the process is. I say, all right, Trey, here's the deal. I got a factory. I'm growing, or I'm starting a new factory. How do I work with you? How do I know you can meet my needs? Because, like anything else, time is money,
Sure.
and having the right people on board when I'm starting out could be like falling on a sword.
Oh, sure. Well, I think we're accustomed to people giving us this question and asking it, and so what we do is we train people in real life situations on real life production floors. So this is not somebody that we took from building something in the stick built world and stuck them into your factory and expect them to be your ideal production workers. So we have people that we are constantly placing into certain factories across the country, and learning and interning in real life situations on production floors. And, in the process, they're being certified on whatever it may be, heavy equipment or machines, they're being certified. And so when we say we have certified machine operators or heavy equipment operators, we do, because we've actually had them in real life situations learning and training.
So when you say real life situation learning and training, I mean, they've already had the on the job training.
Mhm.
And then what do? You partner up new people with them to learn about their specific, I guess their specific jobs. So when you have new factories, like how do you get the ongoing training? Are you constantly moving people around based upon the factory's different needs?
Of course. So we basically we partner, what we call newbies, in the modular space and the offsite space with guys that have been in there for years, and they might have a little bit of a less pay rate, but they're in there learning until they get it. And once they've seen the people and practice with them and had hands on and on training, and as well as whether they're in Procore reading blueprints or
Right.
whatever it may be, they're learning, like I said, and I don't think there's any better way to learn it. They have some classroom time, but they're actually on the production floor in the field training with people that have done it for a long time. And so, I think that the real life application makes them a better worker.
The workforce that you have, let's kind of break it down. Where does the workforce come from? All over the country, all over the world. And what is the process for matching, these people with the different factories?
So we're recruiting all over the country and the world. For instance, I have a production manager starting next week. He's got an engineering degree from the University of Tijuana, and he's going to jump out here and be a production manager for us. So we recruit from all over the country. We have a lot of friends and family. Our workforce always has friends and family that want to work. We have postings. We're constantly posting jobs and sorting through and finding the most qualified people and the people that we can train. So there's a lot of ways that we tackle it, but yeah, we're recruiting from everywhere, all over the country and the world.
Yeah, I mean, I love it, right? And we need that diversity
We've
in the
got
in the
we've
work.
got welders coming from Turkey. So they want to work here. They've got work visas. They can come. They can get certified here and work. So yeah, we're recruiting from everywhere.
Right. How do you find these people? I mean, friends, family, everybody's hurting for labor, but then here's Trey, saying, "Well, I have the workforce." Is it through the networking of your current, I guess team members?
Well, I think it's a testament to how we treat our workforce. I think that the fact that we have people that have been with us for 6 or 7 years, and probably a lot of their cousins and their brother and sister and friends, is because we treat our workforce well. We pay them well. We train them. We house them. We do all the things that are required, and that we put food on the table for their families. And I think that they go out and they speak nicely about us, and so people want to work for our company. And I think that's great, and I think that we'll continue to do that and grow our workforce. And so I think that the way that you treat your workforce, the way you motivate your workforce, the way that you compensate your workforce is very important. And like I said, it's a testament to our company that
Yeah.
people that are here already are bringing in their family and their friends to work for us. So
Let's talk about the benefits of a company using your service, right?
Mhm.
Because the couple things are coming off, top of my head. Bringing in a skilled workforce reduces, to me, and you can answer yes or no and then break into it. Reduces liability, reduces startup time on the production line. I would imagine it helps speed up the production, right? And also quality control. Walk us through all the value adds that a company gets from using a company like yours versus going out and trying to just hire new people all the time.
Sure. Well, I get this all the time from new factory owners or existing where they are trying to organically grow a workforce, and that takes time. And it does. It takes months and months. Whereas we give you a ready-made plug and play option where we can bring in skilled production workers and skilled construction workers on the turn of a dime. And it does. It saves time. It saves liability. We reduce the insurance burden for our clients. We reduce the labor burden for our clients. We reduce a lot of things that in the traditional distribution and manufacturing spaces have been readily adopted, and it's been a little bit slower in offsite manufacturing. But I think that people are coming around and they understand that there's a good option out there for them to bring in a skilled, ready-made workforce to go ahead and push production.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, we get it all the time on who do we know and where do people go. So I think this is cool. What's been the hardest trade to find right now for you, when it comes to the skill set?
I mean, I think that traditionally good drywall finishers, really good MEPs, meaning plumbing, electricians. Those are always and traditionally have been the hardest skill sets to find. But then the welders have been kind of a newer in this, the certifications that are required for welders has been a challenge. But we've like I said, we put our money where our mouth is, and we've been certifying and deploying welders now for a few months, and I think that it's going to be a new sweet spot for us as far as what our clients are going to need, and the fact that we will certify them and they don't have to is a big thing for them. So I think drywall finishers have always been tough. MEPs are tough,
Right.
and certified welders are tough, but we do it. So
With the advancement of technology, AI and robots, we're seeing a lot more of it. There's new factories coming online. How are you tackling, the new tech side of this?
well, I think that that's where this industry is going to head, and I think that's where it's going to be. And I don't know how quickly, but I don't think that 95% of manufacturers in the U.S. are ready for full automation yet. So in the meantime, they're going to need skilled workforce, and that's what's going to drive production for them and drive revenue and solve housing. So I think that we're going to be an option for people for a long time. But as we evolve and as automation evolves, obviously we're going to start recruiting and training new skill sets for people to run the machines, to operate the machines, to draft, all the things that come with the technology. Then we'll have to evolve with it.
Let's talk about the cost of this in a little bit. And I know you got a presentation here, so I'm just going to add this to the screen here, and maybe we can walk through, some of these slides to keep it, simple. So we already kind of did the, introduction and the overview, but core values. I say this all the time. It's what makes or breaks a company, the culture, right? And culture starts with having core values. Walk us through yours.
I mean, I think our core values are, honesty and integrity. Obviously, I think that if you go out and you ask the question, and I know you probably have, and we've been around for 6 or 7 years for a reason. That's because we do the right thing by our client and by our workforce. So I think honesty and integrity are very, very key in our approach to things.
Love it. Love it. All right. So now you have a sample bill rate. This is what everybody always wants to know. All right, Trey, what's it going to cost me, man? Because I got to eat, they got to eat, you got to eat, everybody's got to eat.
Sure. Well, it's obviously a sliding scale. I think 2850 is a good example of a bill rate that we use most often, and it depends on the size of the group that you need. Obviously, if it's a larger group, that bill rate's negotiable, and on skill set. So if we're bringing you a journeyman electrician, he's probably going to cost you a little bit more than 2850. But that's a good general skilled labor experience on the production floor. That's a good example bill rate, and obviously other factors will come into play when we're negotiating that rate with our clients.
Yeah, and those pictures there, those are that's your crew in a it looks like a modular factory. Yes.
Yeah, we do it. We did it this morning. So it's basically we're inserting our workforce into factories on a weekly basis now. So it's good stuff.
Love it. Love it. Love it. So here's something bilingual supervision, right? Because again, we have a lot of laborers, like you said, coming from Turkey and, Central America, South America, wherever. Yep. How does that help you or hurt you? Or do you have a way to manage the bilingual supervision side of this?
So I think that, obviously as we move into the future with our workforce and with our country in general, it's a lot more diverse. And so I think that if you have bilingual individuals in your organization that can serve as supervisors or managers, that's going to be key, because without it, it's going to be very, very tough to manage and push production. So we think that the fact that we have so many bilingual individuals in our organization as supervisors and managers is going to help us out a lot in the future.
I wish I would have become bilingual in my days.
Oh,
I'm
me
working
too.
on it, though. I'm working on it. I am. So discounted rates and scalability. So this is interesting. So based on the size of the workforce, they can get a better rate. Is that what this is?
Yeah, I mean it's all based on scale. So the smaller the group, the larger the rate. The larger the group, the lower the rate. So it's it's same as in traditional staffing or another business model. We're not by any means a temp agency or a staffing agency, but we do operate as such. And so we ask that if you're going to ask us for a lower rate, well, give us a bigger portion of your workforce.
Yeah, got it. Makes sense. And I love it. If I need something, can you get it for me? I know you're not a work, placement, but say, hey, listen, yeah, I know you're doing my factory stuff, but hey, I need this in my office. Is that something you'd be able to help me with?
Yeah, we can go out and like I said, we're recruiting daily, all over the world and posting jobs. And so we can do a direct hire or a temp to perm type situation where if you need an office assistant or a production specialist or any type of professional positions, we can go out and recruit that.
Love it. Love it. So why choose FourA Construct is what this slide says. We've already talked about some of these. Is there anything on here that we haven't touched on that you think is super important?
I don't think so. I think that, like I said, we offer our clients flexibility. We offer, an agile plug and play option for someone who needs a skilled labor workforce. And that's nationally and internationally. So I think that covers it.
Love it. Love it. So FourA Constructs, personal protective equipment, basic tools. What is all this? Geofence? Tell me what all this means.
Yeah. So we, I think we differentiate ourselves a little bit. We come in and we make sure that we make your life easier. So we don't want to add, our workforce and then you have to babysit them in addition to your workforce. So we provide supervision. We brand our people. We have geofence technology where from an invoicing perspective, these people cannot clock in once they leave the building or once before they enter the building or once they leave the building. So that keeps everyone honest for invoicing purposes. We give them their PPE. Like I put a group of 25 workers this morning. I showed up at 5:30 a.m. with all their tools, their tool belts, their vests, their hard hats, and their boots. So we outfit all of our workforce with tools and PPE. We supervise them. So we take care of our own.
I love it. I love it. You come up with tools in hand. That's awesome.
Yeah. I had a miter saws and impact drills and everything this morning walking the door. So.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Okay, and here's just some more photos. And I had another slide deck here that you guys brought out, right? Which just shows here you go. Guys are in a factory here. I'm not sure if you can say what factories you're in there, but I love it. There you go. There's a steel mod factory as well.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect. Perfect. This is cool stuff, man. Like, honestly, I think it's great to have the ability to have somebody in the industry that knows the industry, and knows the workforce, that you don't feel like you're stealing from your fellow factory and trying to recruit from your fellow factory, right?
Sure.
There's enough room for all of us. And what you're bringing to the table is more skilled labor for everybody to choose from.
Yeah, and I think, one thing I wanted to point out is that one of the biggest hurdles that we have with clients is, hey, when you bring in your workforce, what's our workforce going to think about that?
Yeah.
We're not coming in there to be your adversary. We're coming there to be your partner. So, it works out pretty well with us. When we get our workforce in there and things turn
Right.
out, more productive, well, they benefit too, because usually they get bonus. The internal workforce gets bonus, and they get their job done just as well. So it turns out that we're a pretty good friend and partner with our clients.
Well, and I think that's what you kind of have to be, right? It's a team approach. It's not, well, thanks for hiring them. I mean, there's
Right.
management that has to happen. There's, and again, it's people. It's people. Business is hard. Somebody once said, business is easy until people get involved.
Absolutely.
And the fact that you have things in place to help, I guess, manage not only the people, but I'm assuming also the communication between everybody to make sure it's a seamless process.
Absolutely.
So you guys are going to be out at the International Builder Show coming up, correct?
We will be.
And World of Modular. Yes.
Absolutely. And we absolutely will be building a modular home in the parking lot at World of Modular. So keep your eyes peeled.
You're going to be building a modular home in the parking lot at World of Modular.
Yes, sir.
That's cool. How big?
I think it's two 500 square foot boxes, so 1,000 square feet.
1,000 square feet. That's awesome. I'm super happy to hear that, because as this industry is growing, and World of Modular is such a big event in the modular space, and you guys have been hired. Obviously, you're not built. Are you building the modules as well?
Yeah, we'll be in a factory local in Orlando, building them and transporting them, and then we'll be finishing them in the parking lot. So.
Come on, that's super cool, man. That's if that to me is somebody saying, "Hey, we like you well enough that not only can you work in our factories, but now I'm going to put you in the general public."
Sure.
and showcase what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
Which is all super cool. Greg Ugaldi had a question here. He said, "Great info, DC Live. Trey, do you have a backup or reserve pool of workers in case of emergencies?"
Absolutely. We have workforces, and like I said, we have the ability to deploy them nationally. So if somebody has an emergency situation, we can absolutely handle that for you.
Do you know Greg Ugaldi, Trey?
I know the name. I don't think we've met.
Yeah, Greg Ugaldi is the past chair of the National Association of Home Builder. He's the guy that updates president and secretary of housing on a regular basis back in the heyday. But he's also a very, very big and influential person in Washington, D.C. with, codes and making sure we're all moving in the right direction. But more importantly, Trey, he's become a huge supporter in regards to Dave Cooper Live and really wanting to see the future of construction go in the right direction. So love it, love it, love it. He had a follow-up question. What are the big differences between FourA Constructs and a temp agency?
Okay.
Great question.
Well, I don't want to badmouth my friends at temp agencies, but we have a workforce of thousands that have worked inside of offsite construction manufacturing spaces that temp agencies just don't have. We have the ability to maneuver them nationally. We have the ability to put them in your factory or on-site setting boxes for you and drying them in and lagging them and getting them ready for occupation. So I think there's a huge difference between us and a temp agency. I don't think that we've been in a factory for less than 6 months in the past. So, we've been in some factories for 6 or 7 years. So I guess you can consider us a contingent workforce, but not quite the same as a temp agency.
I love it. And, and you've been in some of we were talking, obviously before the show, and some of the factories that you guys have been and girls have been working in are very well-known factories. People would be like, wow,
Sure.
you know who they are is basically what I'm saying.
Sure.
Henry Mickelberg has a question. He says, as you are investing in your workforce by training, certifying, what quid pro quo commitments do you require for them or from them? Sorry.
From the individuals?
It's a great question. I would say so, yeah.
Well, from the individuals, it's always a gamble, obviously. But we feel like that if we invest in an individual and they know that we are, valuing what they're going into and working for us, that they're going to stick around with us. So we don't have any quid pro quo as far as, requiring them to be with us for, 3 years or 5 years. We trust that if we're going to invest in our workers, they're going to stick around.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you kind of have to, right? And you've already proven, I mean, the workforce isn't leaving you, when things change at a factory. I mean, they come right back to you to say, hey, we need to push here or push there, because as much as we'd love to think that every factory runs at optimal performance, it doesn't always mean the books are at always optimal performance.
Oh, sure. As long as, as long as we're flexible with our, with our clients as their production ebbs and flows and losing and getting clients back all the time. Same thing with our workforce. We are here for them and they stick around. And if they do leave, they come back. So we feel like that we treat them very well. And I think that, that'll benefit everybody in the end.
Yeah. So Trey, you said you're going to be at the International Builders Show, and guess what, Trey? Take a guess.
What?
I'm giving away 28 free tickets.
Oh, I heard that.
28 free, and 3 of them have the full IBS session on there, the education session, which means you can come watch the super session. We're going to be on stage for an hour and a half on the big stage this year, showcasing the most innovative products and companies that are out there from the Startup Zone and others. It's going to be a showstopper. That's it. Best show at the place. I guarantee it. Make sure you're there at 9 a.m. Be there. Hey, but if you want to win one of those 28 tickets, I'm going to put this up on the screen. Go ahead and click that QR code right there, everybody. If you take a picture of that QR code, it'll take you to a form, put your name on, fill out the information. It's a Dave Cooper Live form, and we will pick our winners this week. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it'll save you hundreds and hundreds of dollars, so make sure you sign up and join us. I love it. Love it. All right, here's a chance to win, like Jennifer said there when she put the logos up. All right, Trey, what did I miss?
I think you covered pretty much all of it. Just like I told you, I want to make sure that everybody knows and is aware that there's a workforce out there that's ready-made and plug and play for you to stick in your factory and start producing, and we have it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, leave in the comments that, if you need workers, let us know. Let Dave Cooper Live know. Send me a personal PM, and I'll make sure you're connected with Trey, or just call Trey himself and call the office there. Any of the folks in the office will be more than happy to help. But you got to tell them Dave Cooper Live sent you. You might be surprised on the treatment you get.
Absolutely.
Might be good. Trey, thank you so much. And hey, listen, very informative. Thank you so much for watching and joining us today. Trey, I think anybody that takes on one of the most difficult things in the world, such as people and labor, is commendable. And the fact that you've been able to do it to such a level to where, what do you have, over 1,000 people placed already?
Well over.
Over 1,000 people placed in working in factories, and you have right now another up to 100 employees that you're looking to place, correct? Mm-hmm. I think commendable.
At any time, so... We continue to build that workforce. So,
yeah, I love it. Trey, thanks, man. Don't go anywhere. You stay right there. I'll come back to you at the end of the show here, which is going to be in just a few moments. But for the rest of you, again, please click that QR code. We'd love to see you at the International Builders Show. So make sure you take a picture of that and join us in Las Vegas. We're going to have a lot of fun. And make sure you visit us in the Startup Zone and also on the big stage on Tuesday. So, but with that said, if you need workforce, this is the folks for you. FourA Construct and all of their team members are standing by, willing to help. They got the people that you need, and we are happy to have you on the show. So thanks again, Trey.
Thank you, Dave.
Can't do this without all of our sponsors, so make sure you thank these sponsors as well. And Trey, I'll come back to you in just a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Absolutely. Thanks, everybody, and happy Monday. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you, and as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.